Okay, my dear, we are live. Um, so yes, I think what I'll do in the beginning is just ask you for a bit of, to get into. Oh, Denise Gardner's here. Hi, Denise. um, to get into the kind of the origin of your channel name and so on. But we'll just wait a couple of minutes. And so, Denise, what are you up to today? If I'm not mistaken, Denise lives in, are you in Texas? Can't remember. How hot and miserable has it been in Mississippi?
Oh, it's been hot. Well,
But I suppose if you grew up there, oh, Nebraska. Oh, well, that's sort of central, isn't it? If you grew up in Mississippi, your thermostat must be set for for those temperatures, right?
it is. It is. It is.
Okay.
I,
Yeah, it's oh, Denise says she's organizing again. So I'm glad that you're accomplishing something while you're keeping us company here. So, how hot has it been, and when does it actually begin cooling down to a more comfortable temperature?
oh, about end of October, 1st of November, it
Oh,
starts. It starts kind of getting a little fallish. Um,
yeah. And then
Otherwise, it's hot.
and in spring, when does it start getting hot again?
About April.
Oh dear, that would be a lot of, honestly, I can't imagine, a woman going through a pregnancy with heat like that.
Well, you're okay unless you're pregnant during the end of June, July, and August. If you're pregnant in June, July, and August, you're just miserable.
Yeah.
Hey, Susie.
Hi, Susie. Um, well, yes. So does the birth rate drop during those months?
No,
Oh dear.
no,
Okay.
because it was cold when they got pregnant.
Oh yeah, I suppose
Snuggle time.
they had to snuggle a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, well, we should probably get into this a bit. And before we went live, I did ask you, okay, I know your real name is April. I know that Mama and Juju are part of how I've heard you referred to yourself and how others have referred to you. And I said, how do you want to be addressed here tonight, And your answer was anything goes, right? You'll answer to
Anything
anything.
goes. I'll answer to Mama Juju, Juju, April.
Um, Susie, she is in a smallish town a couple of hours away from where? Memphis, right?
Memphis. Hmm.
Yeah. Have sometimes the locals don't go to the biggest attractions. Have you been to Graceland?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a school trip. I think that's a bona fide certified school trip.
Oh, okay, I see.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so I think what, and again, I can tell from your accent that you're from the deep south, even before you told me. Um, what does juju mean?
What does Juju mean?
Yeah.
Well, okay. For me, Juju means that my nephew could not pronounce Jones. It came out Juju and it got stuck. But Juju, she was the actual Juju was a voodoo queen in Louisiana, I do believe. But for me, it's because my nephew could not pronounce Joan, and it came out Juju, and that's it.
Okay, but there's no Joan in your name, so you just like the sound
No,
of it. You adopted it.
no. My sister-in-law, we were aggravating each other, and I called her Johnny out of Johnny Cash,
Oh,
and so I called her Johnny, and she called me Joan, and that's just kind of how we refer to each other when we were being sarcastic and funny and mischievous. And one day we were picking with each other, and he came in and tried to say it, and it came out Juju, and then Juju stuck, and then Juju on that beat came out, and that was it. That was it. It was over.
I think that you have a great laugh, and I think we're going to hear quite a bit of it tonight.
We are.
For those of you who are eagle-eyed, you can probably tell that this woman is wearing some hot pink scrubs, and that's because she's a nurse.
Yeah.
So, do you want to just maybe talk a bit about, your nursing career and maybe the different departments or fields you've moved through over the course of your career? You said it's been over 30 years, so you've been around, baby.
I've been around, baby. Let's see. I've been nursing for 32, going on 33 years. I started as a volunteer floor secretary to get into LPN school. So I've worked in every position in the hospital, from floor secretary up to RN on the floor. And I was a director of a unit at one time. And then I moved into informatics nursing. And I do that now. I do informatics nursing, which gives me the wonderful benefit of doing what they call desk nursing, and then helping out, to do patient care when the itch arises.
When you realize that you haven't seen a bedpan for a
Yeah.
month or two and you get the urge.
Yeah.
When I figured out from watching your videos that, the woman's a nurse, I thought, this is a good time we can pretend this is telehealth, and maybe I could show you a rash or something. Have you diagnose it?
I say, that does look a little peculiar. You might want to see your doctor about that. Yeah, make an appointment with your primary care physician.
Denise is saying that's a compassionate job that she could never do. And Susie thinks that your patients must love you. And of course, being who I am, I did have to ask Juju before we went live whether or not there's nearly as much sex going on at the hospital as there is at Seattle Grace with Grey's Anatomy. And I don't think you gave me a straight answer, come to think of it.
I did not.
Is there hanky-panky occurring at the hospital? No.
No.
Okay, that's your story and you're sticking with it, right?
Yep. It wasn't me. My hat was on my head. If you know, you know.
So, I live on a farm, and we have an expression about the back 40. So why did you pick that as your channel title? Are you on an acreage or a farm or?
Well, I live out, in a rural town on the very outskirts of that town. There's nobody down this way but me and the dead folks in the cemetery. Nobody comes down here unless they go into the cemetery. So my husband, when I was dating at the time, he told everybody I lived out on the back 40. So it kind of became a little running joke with us about, being on the back 40. which he now is on the back 40, so that RT's on. But so that's kind of how the back 40, came about. And then I had to name my channel, and my little foster children I had at the time called me Mama Juju. So, just Mama Juju crafting on the back 40 just kind of seemed to be the name. Of course, at the time, I didn't think about how long that was.
Exactly.
When you're starting a channel, you don't know anything.
Yeah. Well, it's true. And I think sometimes when when people with channels decide, a year or two in or whatever, that they're going to change their channel name, that's not an easy thing to do either, because you kind of hope that your following follows you, and that new people can discover you, because um do you, like, I know that you are working full time, and because you're now more in an administrative role than a hands-on role, you you have day shifts, and you don't have to worry about, your circadian rhythm and all of that, and sleep disturbances and that. Um, so do you have a very organized and routine schedule or plan for how and when you do your videos, and like, is there a sort of an identifiable pattern to what you're doing?
Well, let's see. I'm in menopause, so there went my circadian rhythm out the door. It just is no longer. But I started when I first started doing the 100-day project. When I decided to go live as part of my 100-day project, I was having to do it at midnight, because that's when the back 40 went to sleep and everybody got quiet and I had some time. But the more I wound up staying on an hour or two, so it started to be just a little too late. So I had to move it up till 10. So by the time 12 o'clock came, I could still chill out for an hour or so before I had to go to bed. And that seems to work okay. But I do have a set schedule. But of course, I'm on call 24/7. So that doesn't really, I may or may not need to go back in if I can't handle it from home.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
So do you pre-tape and schedule videos so you'll have kind of a slush pile of content ready to go?
No.
Oh, I find that that is one of the best features of YouTube Studio.
Yeah.
And I, like, right now, I should be driving a combine, and I will tell you guys a bit about how this day has gone so far. But in order to cover off absences and, when life happens, I typically have many videos done ahead. Like, I'm probably 2 weeks ahead right now, and I would like to have all of September covered before I could kind of really feel that, I'm prepared. I want to say hi to Debbie Epps. Do you know Debbie? Because I don't think I do.
Hey,
Debbie. Well, thank you so much for joining you. So is she a subscriber of yours, or a friend, or?
She is. She's a subscriber and a friend, and she has a YouTube channel, and she does wonderful art and collage books and all that good stuff.
Well, why don't we plug her channel? What is Debbie's channel called?
Debbie Epps. Hey, Susan.
Oh, yes.
My son coming in. You see him walk behind me.
Yes, I found out that you have 3 sons. And in our conversation before we went live, you also mentioned foster care. So do you maybe just want to talk a bit about that? How that came to be, or how long you did it, and it sounds like it's part of this. Would you describe yourself as Denise said, compassionate? Because it seems to me that that's kind of a selfless thing to do. So is that part of your makeup?
It's part of my makeup. It's just who I am. A lot of people say, "Oh, that's so compassionate. That's so selfless of you to do something like that." That was, but it was. In the South, family is family, and when you need to do something, you just step up to the plate and do it. And when things like that arise, you just step up to the plate and do it. And that's kind of what I did. Situation came up with their parents, and there was no way I was going to let those children go into the foster care system. So I did something called kinship care, and it was my great niece and my great nephew, and I just took care of them until their parents were able to do it again.
That sounds awesome. So for a while there, there would have been, was there an overlap between when you were raising your own kids? So like you would have had 5 children under one roof at the same time.
I only had 4. My oldest one, he's 12 years older than my other 2. So
Oh,
he was already out and gone on his own. But I had 2. My last 2 were home, and then I had those 2 fosters.
yeah. So and hopefully that story has a happy ending with those.
It does. It
Okay,
does.
great, great.
Yeah, my
And
Tookie Butt and my Stella Bug. You would have heard Stella Bug. She's been on some of my videos. When she comes over, she likes to get on the videos with me, and she likes to craft with me. And Tookie, he tries to.
so these guys are still pretty young.
They're 7 and 10.
Oh my goodness, they're really young.
Yep.
Because I think
Yeah,
you said that you did that for 4 years, right?
yeah. I got him when he was 4 months old.
Okay. Well, that really is going above and beyond, because babies are so needy, you know.
But I
Anyway,
have a
kudos to you for doing that for sure.
well, I had a good support system. Um, my mom is his grandma and grandpa. He says, and he informed me and his mama that was his house and home. He just visited us. But so I had a really good support system with my mom and my sister. They helped out, and my husband
Yeah.
helped out with, because they were his niece and nephew, and so we just jumped around. You just do what you just do. What
Yeah.
you got to do.
Yeah, that's right. You do
Do it.
what needs to be done.
That's
Um,
right. Just do it.
one of the other things, you have kind of a consistent and um routine opening to your videos. Welcome, my chickadees. So is that just a favorite expression? Is a chickadee your favorite bird? Like, what's the rationale
I
behind
like
that?
well, in the South, it's always chickadee. That's always been around the term. But the chickadee, when I was thinking about, everybody called, the different names for the viewers and stuff to their channels. And when I was saying something, I said, "Hey, chickadee," and then it kind of stuck a little. And then I started thinking about what would I do, and I thought about the chickadee, and I even did a post when I got my community site about why chickadees, because they're gorgeous birds. They're everywhere. They're not a regional bird. There's
Yeah,
chickadees all over the place.
yeah,
So they're kind of worldwide. They're very resourceful birds.
they're
They
smart.
they're very smart. They'll flitter and flutter and jump across the branches where you can't hardly see them, insects and all that stuff. And then, when the chips are down, they come out on top. So why not? That's my viewers. That's my girls and boys. That's my chickadees and chickaders.
Well, and quite often a person will see photographs of them eating out of a human hand.
Yeah.
So they're also, I guess, pretty trusting.
I think they know who to trust.
I just wanted to draw your attention to a comment from Denise. She says, never met Juju, but I think I just fell in love with her and her heart.
Oh, thank you.
She had typed that in when you were talking about the fostering.
Oh.
And of course, now the chickadees, that's just another reason. And they are like in my part of the world where the winters could get to be -40. Those guys, they stay around and they survive. So they have they're very adaptable to the conditions around them. And we keep the feeders full and they're happy.
You can knock them down, but you can't knock them out.
Now, I noticed that on your channel that you have a series or a consistency in some of the titles when you're saying back 40 after dark. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
So are those always live?
That's part. I started when the 100-day project started this year. I decided that for my 100-day project, I would just take time for me every night, just for me, and go live because that would make me responsible and accountable.
Yeah.
I would have to because I said I was going to. So just go live and do absolutely nothing but play. Whatever my mind wanted to do, we would just play. And that was part of my 100-day, to do some form of art for a few minutes and just play. And then I made the 100 days in a row, and we just kept coming back. And then one night, it got a little wild. Really wild. And I don't know. I'm just gonna date myself. Well, y'all know I'm old anyway, so it don't matter. But there used to be this episode on Cinemax, and it was called Cinemax After Dark because it was virtually rated X movies, R style kind of stuff. And it would get a little, as my grandma would say, rancy. And so they were getting a little raunchy and rancy. So I said, this is a back 40 After Dark episode. And that's how that started. So the lives at night became back 40 After Dark episodes where we just let our hair down, wear our pajamas, and cut up and have a good time and act the food. Have a drink every once in a while. Never know.
Well, I think, and so is it always a Friday?
No, it's every night after 10 o'clock.
Every night?
Every night at 10 o'clock when it's dark outside.
Okay, so I do want someone who's done a 100-day project and lived to talk about it. When did you start? Did you do that in 2025?
Yes.
So what was your start date?
Geez, I don't even remember now. It was February what was the first day of the 100 day? February 23rd?
Oh, I don't know. Like from what I can gather, yes, there's an official sort of start date.
Yeah.
But people also start anytime and run it anytime during the year.
Yeah, I started on the official start date for my first day.
Did you set a theme or a project or a type of material, or did you leave yourself wide open to do whatever you wanted?
Wide open, whatever I want to do. It is just playtime. It is adult romper room playtime. You know, it's to let your hair down and get rid of the day, to
Yeah.
de-stress. You know, one of the reasons I started the craft and stuff because my doctor said, I needed to de-stress to get a hobby. So I got a hobby. He just didn't know there was not much de-stressing to it, but I did get a hobby. So one of the things is if I have to plan every day what I'm going to do, then it becomes stressful to me. It's like a job. It's like, a chore, but if I come in here and I decide to play with paint because it's been a heck of a day and I need to really play and get messy, then I'll come in and play with paint.
Yeah.
And there's a set of us girls that talk and we met online and stuff. We met in person and we have FaceTimes and talk and stuff. And they go, "Oh, what you doing tonight, April?" I'm like, "I don't know. I
Okay,
know right before."
sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I said, "I'll know right before I go live." And sometimes I'll go live and say, "I don't know what we're doing tonight."
Okay, that raises a few questions. When I did the 100-day project, I of course taped them. Do you think that there's probably more spontaneity to doing it live because as you say, you might not know until you turn the camera on what you're actually doing.
Mhm.
So I guess that could be a good thing. Have you ever totally blanked out and not been able to think of a damn thing to do?
Yeah, I have came on some nights just ugh. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what we're doing tonight. Really don't have a plan and really don't know. By the time I start talking to the ladies and looking at my desk, I always got stuff sitting around. By the time we start doing that and pick up something to do, something comes up and we wind up doing something. But there have been some times when I'm like, I just don't even know. And Debbie's right. We needed Marty here. Marty was another reason I made the 100 days because her 100 days was to meet me every night when I went live for my 100 days. That was her 100 days. So me and Marty did our 100 days together. She never missed a day with me. And I never missed a day because I knew Marty would be there waiting on me.
So Marty is a subscriber, not a channel. She doesn't have a channel.
Yeah,
She was just crafting with you.
Yeah, she's a subscriber and a friend.
Yeah. Okay. I know that by the time, the 100 days rolled by, like I was pretty over it. Would you do the 100 days again?
Yeah, because I'm almost at 300, so we just keep going every night.
You mean
it was interesting. I'm sorry, y'all. That's the front door, so they pass behind me going to the front door. They're used to my camera being down and me looking up there at the monitor, and not have to worry about if they're coming back and forth.
Yeah.
And like I tell everybody, it's the back 40. It's real. This is real life. Crap happens.
Susan said she still hasn't finished. Okay, so you said 300. So you just 100-day thing ends and you just start another one?
Well, we kind of joke about it. The 100-day project ended, and then I didn't stop going live. I was going to stop. It's like, come back. You got to come back tonight. So, we just didn't stop. We just kept going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, well, I mean, obviously I've been toying with doing a 100-day project, but I am going to pick when I start and when I stop. Now we have the messy palette. Is that Australia?
Yes. Hey,
And what's her name?
Diane. We call her Di.
Di. Oh, well, hello and welcome. So it can't be, that's quite a time zone difference.
It is. She'll make you get up at the butt crack of dawn to watch her Wednesday morning episode at 4 o'clock in the morning.
So obviously, Messy Palette is another channel name.
It is. She does great mixed media and card making and digis, and she is one of the reasons the Back 40 After Dark became so wild.
Wild? Okay, so you're saying she's an enabler.
Oh yeah, she enabled us right up with all them cowboys.
She is a bad influence on you because you're
Yeah,
like
it's her fault.
sweet,
That's right.
sweet young thing otherwise.
That's right.
That's your
right.
story and you're sticking with it.
That's right. Where's my pearls?
I'm thinking of doing another 100-day project, but I'm going to sort of map it out so that I know, when it ends. I know that the year I did it, I started kind of willy-nilly in the middle of nowhere and it ran into June and I'm thinking, this is crazy. Honestly, it's crazy. But I did want to pick up on a few other things. You also, I know one night, now again, maybe I wasn't understanding that this was your whole after dark thing. But I think in one of the videos, the only reason that it was even happening is because you had insomnia. You had been in bed or maybe couldn't sleep. So you figured, well, it might as well turn on the camera and craft in lieu of sleeping. So do you do that a lot?
Not a lot. Not now since I seem to go live every night. But I will, pull what I call the marathon, especially on the weekends. If I can't sleep or whatever, I'll craft, or if I have something I need to do. My mind kind of gets hyper focused on it, and it's not any sleep until I get it done. So I'll just, get up. Who wants to do it by themselves? Somebody's up somewhere.
Like that country song, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah. I find that interesting. And I'm surprised that you can pull that off physically with having a day job, because it seems to me, yeah, there are night owls, people who, craft it, and God knows sometimes I'm up fussy cutting or doing something crazy like that till 1 or 2 in the morning. But then, I have to get up and sort of be in sync with the rest of the world. So how do you manage to pull that off, to be, crafting in the middle of the night and then function in a few hours?
I take energy naps sometimes. Like when I get home, if it's been a rough day at work and I'm real tired, I'll come home and I'll take a nap. And I have almost missed live. I have hubby wake me up and say, "Aren't you going live tonight?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, it's 9:30, honey." I'm like, "Oh, let me get up."
Well, and you did hint earlier that menopause does play havoc with one's sleep cycle too. It's crazy.
Yeah, if I get in the bed at 2 and go to sleep, I'm pretty good. I'm good.
You must be very productive because of this.
I don't know about all that.
You also said in one of the videos that you needed to get rid of stuff because, well, as you showed earlier, you had this much to begin with, and now it's, and that wait, I think I wrote that down. You're going to have to do a destash of some before hubby decides that you need to move out.
Yeah.
So I found out during our little pre-talk that your craft space there is actually you commandeered the den, and this is your space. But like most dens, there is no door. So, and we see it, there's a traffic pattern there too. So how challenging is that to have, number one, maybe the additional pressure of keeping the place looking, kind of normal, or what the normal public would think how a house should look, and people coming and going. Is that a break to your
Well,
work life, or what?
well, it seems to upset hubby quite often. Because he's a little OCD a little bit, and so all my mess kind of bothers him. But as long as I contain it to the den, and on this side of the den, that's my side of the world, because he sits over there, which is his little cubby spot. It's his chair and his table right over there with his little collectible rock stuff, his little stuff there. That stays clean. And he has a path out the door, and this stays pretty well picked up, and the floor stays picked up. And he gets okay. It's when I start, busting out that he gets a little upset. When I have painting papers all over the floor and in the kitchen.
Well, number one, he must have quite a bit of patience, because I can, well, so do you for that matter. I would definitely not want anyone in my room with me. So even having him off to the side with his own stuff, I think would be a bit hard to take.
Yeah, that's mostly just where he comes and sits. So he'll come over there and sit, and he'll make a comment, or he'll listen. He says he don't, but he does. He listens to us. He'll come over and sit and listen and make his little comments and stuff, and then he'll go back to the bedroom while I'm, doing my lives and stuff, and he'll stay in the bedroom and watch his YouTube and everything while I'm doing my lives. And then once my lives are over with, if he's around, he'll sit and move about the house and do whatever they do. But they pretty much, kind of leave me alone a little bit.
Well, kudos to him. Like, I've often thought that, the men, I think that it's mostly men, obviously, our partners, as a rule, are pretty supportive, pretty forgiving, they give us a fair bit of rope.
Yeah.
In terms of, putting up with our maybe more bizarre habits and collections and so on. Oh,
He
see,
had to learn. Let me tell you before he gets back in. He had to learn at the very beginning not to mess with my stuff. My stuff. He messed with my stuff one time, and he threw some stuff away that he thought was trash. So one of his fishing poles came up gone because it was trash. So we had to learn not to mess with my stuff.
I'm glad that you moved in close and said it like it was a secret.
It is.
But that, yeah, okay, my lips are sealed. That is, that's pretty cute. And maybe he needs to start, okay, but I guess during your lives, your camera is pointed down. I was going to say maybe he needs to do a cameo appearance on your lives, and if he wants to sit in the chair and sort of eavesdrop, so to speak, then he might start talking to the ladies.
Oh, he's made his point a couple of times. He's made some noise over there a couple of times, but most of the time he just kind of sits over there and grunts. He'll make his comment, and he'll comment and talk to me, and I'll have to talk to him for a minute or two. But he makes his appearance known when he feels like he needs to.
Yeah. I just wanted to say hi to Hope. Hope, glad to have you here. And you said the messy palette is Di, right? Or Diane?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she says hubby only enters to bring her a cuppa or tell me his version of important news. That's pretty cool. Brenda, Brenda Clark, aka the Simple Crafter, quite often when she's working, at her desk, and of course, camera facing down, all of a sudden you'll just see a cup of coffee appear at the side of her
Yeah.
desk. Well, that's her hubby, her Tom, that's doing that. I'm thinking, isn't that nice? Okay, let's see what else I wanted to talk to you about.
I don't have a
Um,
cup. I have diet. I have diet Dr. Pepper. So mine
oh,
will bring me some ice and some diet Dr. Pepper.
Um, in one of the videos that I caught recently, you were, I think it maybe have been a moment of, frustration or whatever, how we get kind of fed up with our own situation and what we the the how we've let our space get. And you said, which I thought, it's brilliant. Um, too bad I don't do it, is at the end of every session, take, I don't know if you said 5 or 10 minutes or maybe even 15 minutes, just you called it a reset of your space. So what's the thinking behind that? And do you do it consistently?
I reset my desk right here in front of me. I reset that consistently. That's about all I reset consistently. But and then the resetting where I have to put the stuff up off the floor and from around to just my craft spot so it won't come up gone the next day while I'm at work. I do that consistently out of necessity more than anything.
Yeah.
Um, but when I get up, even if I get up in the middle of the night because I can't sleep, or I get up early before I go to work and I want to just do a little bit of craft something, if I've reset my desk the night before, it's clean and inviting and I can run and do it right then. And if I don't, then when I come in from work, and sometimes I work late. So if I'm going to go live, sometimes I've came in through my, take a bath, threw my pajamas on and stuff, got something to eat, and came to the desk to go live because I had to work that late. And if I didn't reset it, I was trying to clean the stuff up. And the ladies tell you they've seen it. They've seen this desk a mess. Because especially when I first started doing my 100-day project, I was going live every night. The craft, I wasn't resetting, I wasn't doing anything. I was doing stuff, and then I was going to work and coming back and still trying to do my regular crafting and then going and doing stuff. So the craft room just exploded. It was bad. It was bad.
Now we have somebody called Scrapbook Sage here.
That's Dawn. Hey, Dawn.
Well, hello, Dawn, and welcome. So I think that 100-day project, well, two things. If you were turning your 100-day project into a live, does that mean that the projects were kind of complicated? Because lives tend to be an hour and a half, or so on. So were the projects complicated, or you're just slower because you're interacting with the people in the chat?
Okay. They'll tell you I don't pay attention to the chat. I got that problem. But I like to experiment and play. So it flies by because I'm, mixing paint on the jelly plate, or, I decide to get the spritzers and spritz the stuff, and, or I get involved in trying to make hidden pockets or work in the cowboy journal, and, or Bubba Tina or Big Bertha or something. And so the time just kind of flies by. I don't know how fast I craft, but, I can feel the space.
We have more people to say hi to. So Joni from Not So Fast Joni is here, so welcome. And Steph
Hey,
Colby.
Stephanie. Oh, Lord, let me put that down. I got eye on all of a sudden. I had to reset my phone.
So Dawn is saying that you did great with them. So I guess she's meaning with your lives. Okay, so that's good. Now I thought I had something else I wanted to say about that, or a question that arose out of that, but now it has slipped my mind. I guess though that if this is a common space that you're working in and you can't, shut the door and that's why you have to keep your floor passable. Okay, she's saying we love our Juju.
Yeah. So sweet.
Yeah. And of course, the idea with this whole heart to heart thing is that we sort of cross pollinate our subscribers, and people get to meet people in the chat and so on. So, anybody who has a channel who is in the chat, feel free to put your channel name in. And we were talking a bit before we went live. I don't happen to know how to make a link in the chat clickable. So if somebody knows that, like, clue me in. Okay, so I understand the rationale for the resetting of the desk is because, you kind of you get a fresh start the next day or later that day or whatever, whenever you go to it. But surely you're not putting every single thing away.
Oh God, no. No.
Yeah, because really it would be like pointless, because the next day you're doing another thing that may have been. Okay, so Debbie's saying I have to assign mods or place the link myself. Yeah, that's the problem. I don't know how to place the link myself. Anyway, if you can do a dumbed down version of how to do that, I would be happy to try. So, one of the things that, is it fair to say that you love hidden pockets? Because it seems like you have a little bit of a mini series going on.
Now we're doing a swap with Miss Beth on the hidden pockets. Beth Schuler. That's my romper room. I love Miss Beth. And so I had to make some hidden pockets, and so I was playing with my hidden pockets and making them, and then I lost them. I found them though, y'all. See, I found them.
Okay, I saw the first one, and quite often we watch videos, we see good ideas, and it's kind of in one ear and out the other. I made a couple.
Yay!
And then I made a whole whack more. These aren't decorated. Anyway, so I barely finished, enjoying myself doing these. And then you did the one with the greeting cards.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, that is genius. That's genius. Did you invent that?
No.
Oh,
I saw it somewhere.
okay.
I can't remember who, but if I remember, I'll give credit on my channel and put it up there. But I can't remember who I saw doing it. But somebody I saw doing it.
Sorry, let me just stop you. Di is taking off because she's going live in 10 minutes. So
Okay.
you probably want to say goodbye to her.
Bye, Di.
Thanks so much for stopping in, especially all the way from Australia. That's awesome. So does she go live often?
Yeah, she goes live on Wednesdays, and which is Thursdays for her. Yeah.
Cool.
This is ahead time.
Debbie is saying two sisters at a retreat video showed them. Oh, and Lori from Enchanted Dreams is here. Lori is going to be a guest later in the month. So great to have you here, Lori. Oh, and
Yay.
Julie. Julie is saying, so wonderful to see your beautiful face, Mama Juju.
Thank you, girl.
Um, yeah, I just loved those cards. I mean, the whole idea. I'd never done that before. So I did a whole bunch. I'll put one in my sample, my prototype book, and I have to do a few card ones. But unfortunately, um, for those of you who may not know me, I'm a farmer. And actually, not that we want to cut this short in any way at all, I should be driving a combine right now. And I hinted that it's been a bit of a day for me too. So I don't imagine most of you know too much about farming, but it's very weather dependent. We're not big farmers. We don't have new equipment or anything, but it is part of our, livelihood. And because it's weather dependent, you do it when the weather is right, when the crop is ready, and so on. Anyway, without much notice this morning, I get my husband said, well, you have to drive to Edmonton, which is like to this point in the city would be an hour and a half away, one way, to pick up these parts. So I do that, knowing darn well I have to be back home in time for this. So I go. There's a little bit of a screw up at that end. I'm waiting. Then, drive the hour and a half back. He takes a look at the parts and says, that's the wrong thing. So I get in the car again. I go in the other direction. That's only 50 kilometers, though. So that's like an hour round trip. And I got here like not too much before you and I met, right before the. So yeah, it's a hairy time of the month or the year for us.
Yeah.
Let me see what people are saying. Oh, my granny still does our tractor work at 80 on our farm. Well, I'm not 80, but I always say I think that if this was my last year combining, I'd be happy with that. I could learn how to go to corn mazes and jump in piles of leaves or look at trees turning colors. I don't have to see it out of a combine window. Okay. Oh, Lori grew up on a 200-acre farm.
She's a farm girl.
Farming is not for the faint of heart. That's true.
No, it's not.
Anyway, and that's why I kind of love that crafting on the back 40 expression, because of course that's when you live in the boondocks and you talk about the back 40, I get you totally. I just wanted to also ask, it's almost become like a bit of a joke, and people like Susie and Teresa usually remind me. How do you feel about purple?
How do I feel about purple?
Yeah, the color purple.
I like purple. I'm team pink, but I like purple. My sister and my mom are purple, so you'll see me do a lot of stuff with purple because I do a lot of stuff for them.
Yeah.
But I like purple. It's okay, but I'm team pink.
There are a few people in that team as well. So, and the other question I always ask, because I see a pattern developing with all the people, and this is episode 18, by the way. Are you an introvert?
To a degree, I am. I'm real shy and kind of reserved until
I can tell.
until I get to know you. And then once I get to know you, it's Katie bar the door. It's like it's all out.
I think what we have discovered is that a lot of people doing this, having channels, doing this sort of hobby, business, whatever you want to call it, tend to be introverts who could very easily spend hours and days by ourselves, just doing stuff. Yeah. And we've kind of almost settled on the definition that what's that? We love people, but we love them in small doses, and we tend to be exhausted by them. So we need a period of restoration and rejuvenation after we've been in a very crowded or um, around a lot of people. So does that define you?
It does. It does. I crave stimulation. That's what I call it, stimulation. I crave stimulation, in grown up company and that kind of thing. But then, enough's enough. It's time for come and go home. It's time for me to go home and get my pajamas and just veg out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, Carrie is here. Carrie, the paper monkey.
Hey, Carrie.
Um, so yeah, I think that is, yeah, that's consistent with virtually everyone that I've interviewed so far. We love people, but we also need our space to recharge. And in fact, I've heard people say, "Oh, I can't do that," or whatever, because it's too peoply out there.
Well, the peoply part, that doesn't really bother me. I can do peoply. Um, it's just there's a time when I want people to go away. And I
Yeah,
want to be by myself.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But it
Uh,
doesn't bother me if I have to, if I have to go people, I can go people.
yeah, yeah. So what plans have you got for your channel? Like, I know that you're carrying on with your going live every night with your after dark because you like your pajamas and you like to let your hair down and cut loose.
Yeah.
So what else? Or are you just sort of letting the mood and going with the flow of
Uh,
whatever happens, happens.
well, I kind of craft by the seat of my pants and really intuitive of my art and everything. So I just kind of go with whatever, and it's just kind of letting it evolve naturally, I guess. Is what a sophisticated person might say. But I really don't have any plans. I started my channel because I was trying to learn to do the paper crafts and the junk journal, and I thought I wanted to do cards, which I don't. But um, I would watch the people, and they had all these gorgeous craft rooms, and they made these wonderful, gorgeous products, and piece of art, works of art, and journals and cards, and it was just perfect on the first go. And mine was like cattywampus and upside down and unidentifiable at times. And I'm thinking, what the hello did I do wrong? And that kind of made me feel a little discouraged and frustrated. And I thought, and the Kim was saying, you need to start a channel, you need to do this. And I thought, okay, I'll start a channel, but it's going to be a learn. If I'm going to do it, I can't teach this stuff, so we're going to learn. And my word for that year was experiment, and I took it to the hilt, honey. We're going to learn it together. We're going to go on this journey together, and you're going to see the good, the bad, the ugly, the elves of all of it. And that's what I did. Even, if you go back and look at my videos that I recorded, I didn't edit out too much. I sped up stuff that was just, boring. And I put my bloopers at the end of it, and it might have started out one thing at the beginning. By the time we got to the end of it, it might have been a totally different looking project. But, it just, I just wanted somebody to be able to look at it and think, well, that turned out half good or like it was supposed to. And if she can do it, I can do it. And not feel bad about it not looking all perfect, And I'm not saying anything bad about it, because good Lord have mercy. I love me some Pam from the Paper Outpost. And I am shabby dabby doo dah Miss Tina all the way, honey. and take that to the bank. But they've been doing it a long time. They've been doing
Yes.
their crowns a long time. So it
Yeah.
all looks perfect. But even if it didn't look perfect, you still think it looked perfect because, that's just them. And everything they do is perfect. And I thought, well, me in this back 40 is going to make a mess and somebody will feel okay learning because I was learning and I wanted to feel like it was okay to learn. And that was kind of the premises of me starting doing the channel. And then probably also because if I did it that way, then I didn't have to worry about having any kind of self-confidence or self-esteem on the fact that I might could do this. So that's how it started, and it's just kind of evolved from there.
Well, and you got the 2-year birthday cake from YouTube. The one with no calories.
Yeah, I ate
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah. So it's been 2 years. Were you a crafty person?
I'm sorry, that's my son. Right now,
Oh, I thought hubby, we might have to give him a round of applause or
no,
something.
that was
Um,
my son hollering at me when he came home.
okay. So were you a crafty like did you grow, were you a little crafty kid?
I was. My mama did crafting. She was trichome. I don't know if you remember what that was,
She was what?
but trichome. I don't know if you remember what trichome was. The little tubes of paint with little metal balls in it that you did transfers on fabric and stuff, and you painted on fabric. It was fabric painting.
Okay.
But she did that. She's always done, and she was a teacher's assistant in her first career, a nurse in her second career, and she's always been kind of artsy and crafty herself, and I've always like to do arts and crafts in some form. And before I even got into arts and craft, I was a planner girl. So I, I was the whole happy planner girl, making planners, planning it up with washi tape and stickers and all that kind of stuff. But my planners tend to be more of a mixture of a planner versus scrapbook, memory book, but it was junk. I didn't know at the time, but it was like a junk journal planner. Of course, I didn't know that's what you called it.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do with them. But I did
Yeah.
that for years, years before I even, saw the junk
Yeah.
journal of it.
Do you sew or stitch?
I sew paper. Does that count? I did 15 slow stitches. Yeah.
15. Wow.
15. That's a daggone record. I did 15 and I said, okay, I'm buying this stuff. If I
Dear.
want a slow stitch and I'm buying it.
Okay, I wanted to say hi to Trudy from Tucker and Tulip. She's here as well. She was my guest last week. So don't you think that sort of this whole journal making thing is like the best of, so many factors, so many worlds come together, like the love of paper and the love of paint and color and fabric, and because I think your um fondness is sort of for mixed media, right?
It
You
is.
love your paint.
It is. I love my paint and my collage. I don't know. The girls tell me I'm a little strange, but I just can slap some paint down and stuff and just see stuff in it. I don't know. I can't paint. I can't draw and paint just by. My sister is a professional artist, and she can just paint something or see a picture of something or see the sunset or something and just paint it.
Yeah.
I can't do that, but I could take some paper down and slap it on the thing like I think it should be, and I'll see something else. I might want to try to make a tree, and then in the end, it may be, Big Booty Granny like we did one night. That would start out as a tree. Or, I may see a piece of paper and, I can see an image or something in it. And that's kind of how my art comes. I just can see bits and pieces of stuff.
Have you, and of course I haven't, I don't even know all the videos I've done, never mind all the videos you've done. Have you ever taken your painty papers and further embellished them, say, with doodling and mark making to take them to another level?
Um, some I have, but mostly I like ripping them up, using them that way. I like to make them as bases and then
Oh yeah,
lines over top of them, or
yeah.
just rip them up and gluing them with some other pages to come up with something, or you know, like this one. This was a painting. Let me see where it's at. This was a painting paper, but
Yeah.
all I liked was this little piece in the middle of it. So I just, scanned it and then I ripped everything else and threw it away and just used that piece in the middle because that is what I like.
So are you putting your pigment straight on the paper, or are you using a gel plate?
Oh, I use a gel plate. I use my glass mat. I use my fingers. I use I use a plastic. I use everything.
Everything is fair game.
Everything. Everything is a craft supply until proven otherwise.
Okay, who said that?
Pound for the
Yeah,
paper outfits.
yes, she has a lot of good saying, like
Yeah.
craft with what, wild abandon or something like
Craft,
that too.
yeah, with abandonment.
Denise is saying she's a daily doodler. I wish I was a daily doodler. I find it it's fun, it's relaxing, but again, it's hard. I don't know, maybe it's the way my brain is wired or whatever. I can't commit to daily practices, it seems, of anything, including exercise. But you know, I feel that if I reach for it and do it when I do, it's maybe meeting a need of some sort.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a block with the doodling thing. I'm not a doodler per se. I don't just, I doodle, but it's like maybe neurographic or neurogenic kind of doodling. It doesn't have a detailed outline or purpose. But I have been watching Miss Hazy Crazy Arts, Miss Hazel over there, and I've been doing some pretty cool doodling. She kind of makes it, she brings it around to that logical kind of step by step thing that's easy. You know,
Can you repeat that channel name, please?
um, Hazy, Hazy, crazy art, hazy crazy art.
This is great, when a person gets informed about other channels. One of the things you said way back when was, and that maybe the timing was when you started your channel, but you said that your word that year was experiment. So
Mhm.
are you in the habit of picking a word for every year and letting it be your mantra and your guiding principle?
Well, I wasn't until I started this junk journaling stuff. And people was like, oh, the word of the year, you got to have your word of the year. And I was like, okay. And it's like, what's your word of the year? Well, I'm experimenting. So that's my word of the year. And my word of this year was focus, but I'm still stuck over and experimenting. I belong to my word of the year really bad. Real
Well,
bad.
and honestly, that just reminds me, I think that I made some declaration at the beginning of the year about my word of the year, but I'll be damned if I can remember what it is. So it can't have been very front of mind and guiding my actions, can it? Oh, brother. Now I'm curious. I'm going to have to do some homework after we get off.
I made a collage out of mine and just plan and focus and made it look all great and pretty, and that was about it.
Yeah.
As far as my focus went.
You did some I'm just going to make you repeat this because I think it's funny. You did a little bit of name dropping there when you were talking about Pam at the Paper Outpost and Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodle. Do
Yeah.
you want to tell the people about moi and how in your reaction to moi?
Yo, I
Not because I'm in
fangirl.
that category at all.
Yes, she is. Don't let her lie to you. I'm looking up at things so I can see her face. I fangirl. I told Dawn, and they can tell you. I was like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. Okay, Miss Hazel, she don't remember me, but y'all that's been around
I
know
okay,
when I
carry on.
first. That's right, you know you did. When I first started, I was using my personal account, and it was just April, and that was back when I was over at Pam and Tina and all them. And then when I started doing Dear Julie challenges, and Dawn told me that's where we saw and used to do the gift card papers from. But when I did all of that, I met Kim. So before I went to Dear Julie, it was Pam. I came into junk journaling with Pam and then Tina, and then I met Kim. And through Kim, I met Miss Hazel. And that was before I got to Dear Julie, way before that was back in 2019 and stuff when I started. And I met Miss Hazel. And I watched Miss Hazel before I knew Miss Hazel was Miss Hazel through Kim. And I got with Miss Hazel and Kim, and I started supporting Kim and watching her because I just love me some Kim. And we exchanged Happy Mail, got on the Happy Mail movement together, and exchanged Happy Mail and stuff. And I just fanned girl all over. And then I got the email, and I was like, oh my God. And then a while ago, I had to remind myself to act sophisticated and not, fangirl, because she was bringing up the stuff. I'm like, oh my God, she made a pocket because she saw me make it. Oh my God.
Oh my
Do the
goodness.
happy dance. Where you just do the happy dance.
Well, that is crazy. Anyway, I'm
No, I tell you what, you just asked Miss Ava. I met Miss Ava. Now I was watching Miss Ava too before I got into Dear Julie, and met Miss Ava through Dear Julie. And we went to a retreat, and I met Miss Ava, and she came in, and I just fangirl on her personally, like up front in her face on her person, fangirl. She thought she might have had a stalker kind of episode. So call yourself lucky. There's a TV and a lot of miles between us.
okay. So who's Miss Ava?
Miss Ava is my brainy mess, and she does junk journaling, and she does a lot of mixed media painting.
My brainy mess.
My brainy mess.
Well, you're giving me a lot of homework here, a lot of people to check out, so I appreciate that.
Honey, I said if YouTube would pay people for watching them, I could have retired by now.
Yeah, that's how they should monetize it, right?
Right, that's right. Pay me for watching you. I got lots of watch hours.
I think that what that sort of proves to anybody who has a channel, and maybe it's a good reminder for me as well, that sometimes we get a little discouraged when we see that, yeah, we're getting likes and we're getting comments, but the number of comments doesn't match the number of likes. So I think, and again, I try not to let myself think about or worry about any of that stuff. I just think do your thing, If people resonate with what you're doing, they'll come, they'll enjoy themselves, they'll come back, they'll stay. But I think what you've just said, as flattering as that is, and as funny as that is to me, um, it's a reminder that we have people out there who like what we're doing, who are finding some value in what we're doing, but they may not necessarily be verbalizing it through comments.
Mhm.
So we should just continue to be authentic, continue to do our thing, encourage and remind people to do comments, because YouTube cares, YouTube counts. But I know that if I'm watching, and I can't imagine people watching videos on phones, forgive me, but I just don't get that. But I know that if I watch somebody on a smart TV, it's a multi-step process to then find the video on a laptop so that you can do the comments. So I understand people may not, comment on every video they see. Goodness knows I don't. Anyway, I'm just glad that you told that story, because I find it well, flattering and funny. So anyway,
But it's
let's
true.
see what happens. I just want to go back in the comments and see if there's anything we need to be saying here. Okay, Julie, Day Trip Vintage. And Julie was a guest maybe a month or so ago. She says, I fangirled over a YouTube creator that came to one of my lives years ago, and we all scared her off. So embarrassing. Oh, that's well, but why would anyone get, well, was it okay, Julie? Was it maybe veering towards stalking? um, okay. Now, Debbie is saying, I love how the group circled overlap and we find new channels and art friends. Okay, yes, that's great. I just wish, oh, yes. And Steph is saying, I just wish there was time to watch everyone. So many good ones. Uh, and then Dawn is saying, we're like a cackle of geese. Um, honestly, isn't laughing together, though, better than crying or hating or bullying or what some people do?
It is, but I think it's like I don't, I don't know. It seems to be more real because it's real life. I mean, we're real people. We have real lives,
Yeah,
and everybody. When you hear the commercials, as a nurse, I've said it to patients. It's Suicide Prevention Month this month. People have said it. It's okay not to be okay.
yeah,
And we say that, but yet we think we're supposed to go and be all jolly and happy and wonderful every time we're on YouTube. Well,
yeah,
sometimes life is just, I promise I was gonna have a good mouth, but sometimes it's just there's no other word to say.
yeah,
And you can't, no matter who you are, you can't be jolly, authentic, jolly, and not come across as somebody who's fake.
yeah,
And you can't be somebody who says, "Oh, it's okay to be okay," not to be okay. It'll get better, and then yet you don't feel comfortable enough not to be okay.
yeah.
And
Okay, just hold that thought for a minute. I forgot to acknowledge someone else in the chat, and it's only because I don't know how to say her name. Jutta.
you,
Yuta. So that's okay, that's an H sound. Okay, welcome here. Okay, so I think that, well, you said a lot there, and one thing that I've discovered through doing these interviews is, we talk about introverts and so on. There are so many people that seem to have channels and be makers and be creators who are also have, something like ADHD or ADD or OCD. Like, there's an acronym for everything. And it's, and one of my early guests is also a recovering alcoholic. So I think that through, because the tagline for this series is real um, conversation with real women. So, I could spend my time here asking you, but what's your favorite glue? Or, stuff like that. But I think the value here, and I think the reason people are coming back to either watch these things live or watch the replay is because we talk about some of those real issues, the things that people have to cope with, whether it's, illness in the family or being widowed or health concerns or whatever. It's real, and to pretend otherwise is to be fake. Okay, let's see what Julie said. This was about the fangirl thing. No, we just all loved her content and we all got very excited she was there. Creative Girl Vintage is her channel, Tammy. Her content and creations are wonderful. Okay, I don't know if I've been to that channel, so I better write that down. Creative Girl Vintage.
Well, I don't know. I can't speak for her, but it just might have touched her. So she might have to run off and go cry by herself. I haven't done that before, and or she might have just not felt like it was all that in a bag of chips, and it just made her feel a little uncomfortable when she had to go run off.
Yes, that's the spin we're going to put on it. She was so overcome with warmth and emotion that she had to go and pull herself together.
Yep, she had to run, pull herself together. She couldn't see
So
the keyboard.
is there any particular maybe genre of journal or technique or tool that you are just itching to learn? Because you said your word is experiment.
Yeah. Oh, I've kind of done. I've done most everything I've come across. Learned really fast at some of it. I don't want to ever do again. Um.
That's true.
Oh yeah. I don't ever want to make a clean journal again. That was very stressful.
A what? A clean journal?
Journal.
Oh,
You've seen them. The ones that are all pretty scrapbook, party clean. They're just gorgeous.
oh
You know
yeah.
the one I'm talking about. They're just so pretty.
Yeah.
They're all lined up perfectly. There's no inking. I mean, it's not grungy. It's just a clean, pretty journal. I
And
buy
there's,
that.
and there's nothing much of the creator within it. The
Well,
creator's personality.
no. Because some of my girlfriends, they make clean ones. Find them. They make all clean journals, and they're very creative. They can be very creative and very pretty. They just really clean. They measure. They score. It's just a clean journal.
Okay.
Can't do that.
Okay. So, given that you're needing to squeeze your crafting in around your day job, and because you're such a sweet young thing, you've got a few years left in your sentence before you can get off for good behavior.
Well,
Um, are you actively selling, or is that not a concern of yours at this time? You're just making for the joy of making.
I'm just making for the joy of making. Now I have sold, and I give a lot away more than I sell. And I have sold to friends and people that seen my work and said, "Oh, I love that. Are you selling that? Can I buy one? Can I buy that one?" I've sold that kind of stuff, and people have commissioned me and asked me to make them stuff. Um, Mostly around planners, because like I said, I was doing a lot of planners before this. I have done that, but to just sell my stuff, to say, okay, I've got this journal for sale. I made this journal. I don't know. It feels like exposing myself. I don't know how to say it. It's like I'm just kind of being raw with it because a lot of, especially what I do now that I've kind of come into my style and just gave in to just being me with my art and not trying to make my Tina stuff or my Pam stuff, which is nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
But because there's a lot of their influence in some of the things that I do. But it's a lot of my art and me in it. And one of the things that I say a lot on the channel when I'm doing something is, can you see what I see? And, that says something right there. If you know, you know. Because, it was something that happened during the day. Somebody passed away. Somebody crossed over the Rainbow Bridge. I had a really crappy day at work. I'm just so sad that I don't even, want to breathe. And so it goes into what I make. So when you put all that in a journal, and it don't always look to cleanness, because I like my stuff sloppy and grungy and sticking all out here and there and yonder. When you have something like that, it's full of pieces of you. So now you got to turn around and, that's pieces of you and your moments in time that you made art with. So it's kind of hard sometimes, especially for me, to think that might resonate with somebody else. And then, in fact, then they want you to sell it. You're thinking, what do you charge for that? What price do you put on that? So that's kind of where I'm at with the selling journal part. Now, my hubby says $5, get it out the house. He don't care, give it away, charge $1, get it out. So, I sold some when I did the estate sale. My mama had a friend and we did an estate sale with some of her stuff that I thought my journal buddies would like. And he told me I need to sell some of my journals that I have. So I sold some of those then, but I still have another whole box that are not my favorites. I have my favorites up there. I've given a lot away. And then I have those that are in the box that are from when I first started, or maybe, recently that were okay journals that, didn't touch me too much in my heart. They're in the box and they're to give away, get rid of, do something with. Yeah. And then you have ephemera. My God, ephemera.
Well, that was a nice long.
Very long. I got witty, didn't I?
No, that was a nice long answer, because I guess what I was expecting you to say is, yeah, I have an Etsy shop or whatever. But I hear you, and I understand that. I think if we're truly doing this as for our own joy, pleasure, enjoyment, healing, whatever the motivation, it is hard to part with them, especially in the beginning, when our technique wasn't as good as it should have been, probably. There were boo-boos made and things that we're not necessarily proud of. So I think it's important to keep those early things, to see the progress we've made, to see the evolution. And I also believe that we also, when we binge watch people, and some of the same names keep coming up, like Pam at the Paper Outpost, and there are people that are kind of Rachel Roxy Creations fans, or Tina from Shabby Dabby, or Gail Augustine, or any of these people, and many others. Sometimes we need to copy in order to learn a technique.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also discovered that I might very much appreciate a flip through, or even the process videos leading up to a finished project, and think, oh, isn't that absolutely gorgeous? And yet never want to do it myself, because it's just not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have an appreciation for it, but I do not want to do that myself. So yeah, I hear you. And Maybe we'll just let our estates worry about what to do with these brilliant pieces of art when we
Oh,
croak and
yeah,
kick the
yeah.
bucket.
I have strict orders that if I'm going to continue to do this, I'm going to have to find some way of selling these things and letting them go because they're just mounting up. So, I do have a coffee shop, but
Okay.
it's freebie stuff. You go over there, it's the things that I have bought that are out of copyright and stuff, or
Oh yeah.
things that I have made on my gel plate and stuff, and that was part of the 100-day project or part of this project or whatever. And I've scanned it in and put it in there or downloaded it in there for you to get as a freebie, to craft alone or to have or throw darts at or whatever. Um,
But you can sell physical objects through coffee as well. So so
if
why
you really,
don't you list some of those there? And I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with people sort of pricing things a little bit lower when we know that we weren't really up to, you know, that some of our early works aren't as good as our current stuff.
yeah,
And honestly, shrewd buyers will also know, oh, yes, I bought some of April's early work. You should see her stuff now. I can't possibly touch it. It's so expensive and priceless. Like people do sometimes with emerging artists, like fine
yeah.
artists. Okay, let's see what Steph is saying. Um, she said, like, this was back in at the time when I asked you about selling, and she said people would buy them, but I understand why you might not want to. And then later on she says, I have trouble selling my paintings because even taking a commission kind of turns it into a job instead of play, takes a little of the joy out of it for me. And I mean, I understand that as well. um
But
I would.
Stephanie is a wonderful watercolor artist. Her watercolors are so pretty.
So, now did I write down, okay, what is her channel name?
Um,
Is it Goldie?
uh-huh.
Goldie,
Leaf.
Goldie dot Luck?
LUC.
Yeah,
I think that Stephanie, is that your channel? Write your channel description in there.
yeah, for sure.
Name. I believe that's it.
Huta has a question. Would you be sad if someone cut your journal apart to use for their own art?
No.
And Steffi says, I do have a channel, but I've hardly done art on it. And it's this name. So it's the Goldie period.
Uh-huh.
Um,
I think it has Steph in front of it, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's her screen name.
yeah. Um, okay. I want to also ask you about thrifting. Have you been bitten by the bug?
Oh,
And
yeah.
so you have
Very
this
much.
the same disease the rest of us do.
Because you see that right up at the top right there?
Yeah.
That's one of my 3/4 spots. Those papers go up there for me to hoard for a little bit before I can put them down there to use them.
So from what I can tell, of course, I'm in Alberta, Canada. Um, a lot of the people that I've gotten to know or the people that I watch on YouTube, um, everybody lives in a different region, a different state, or a different province, or a different country. So, like what is sort of what can you find a lot of in your area, like in the shops around you? Is there something that you never see, something that you've really scored and are happy about?
Um, well, I tend to thrift at the online sales because I love paper, like big ledger paper and old rag paper. I love the feel of paper and stuff. So I do a lot of that. But one of the things that was like an everyday occurrence for us around here is the Reader Digest books. So when I first started doing the junk journaling, I can go down to my library and get them for free. I can go, to the Salvation Army, which is one of our thrift stores that we have, and get them for 25 cents, all day long, every day. And everybody was paying like $5 and $10 and $12 for them because they could get them. And I was like, what? So that was kind of, amazing to me at first. And old magazines. I love old magazines, especially the 20s and 30s with the old advertisements and when they first started using the color plates and stuff in them. They're just absolutely gorgeous. And I scored one at the library that somebody had brought in to put in the free magazine rack. So I snatched that up in quite a bit of a hurry.
What year was it?
1920.
Do you remember?
24, I think.
Oh my goodness, that's gold.
Yeah. I snatched it up. Ran to the car like I stole something.
It's like that IKEA commercial. Start the car. Start the car. So far you haven't really been bitten by the fabric and the sewing part of this all. You know what? Maybe you should keep it that way.
Miss Hazel, I have a lot of fabric. I just don't, I glue it to my books and make journals, and I, make flip ups and
Okay.
tear it up for collagen and stuff. I just don't sew things with it. I don't
Okay.
sew it.
Yeah.
Unless it's paper.
Now,
I don't iron it either.
I think it was one of your videos where you were doing or I should ask you, was it you that cut down a composition book to make a little teeny weeny planner?
Yeah.
Okay, so I remember first, now tell me if we're talking about the same thing. With that binding that you did with the ribbon, is that what the original Smash books were like?
I'm not really sure. It's called a Fat Patty. Fat Patty. And I learned it by watching Let's Make a Mess Today. Yeah. And
I think that, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I said I watched it by I learned to make it by watching her. And she called hers Fat Patty. And apparently it's I don't want to say old, but yeah, an old thing that's been around a long time. Because at one time it was real popular and everybody was doing it because there were big Berthas and big Betsy's and all that kind of thing where they named the journals and stuff. And I went back and watched a lot of videos from a lot of people who no longer do them and some that are no longer with us that were making these. And they're just absolutely gorgeous. And it is like a Smash book, but it's more like a Smash scrapbook because it's like a memory kind of, it's like your memories in sometimes your everyday life in this big journal,
Yeah. Well, and I did one of those. I guess I should look for it. And I guess the amazing part to me is that with the reinforcement of the spine, that thing can become humongous and not and still keep its integrity.
Let me show
Okay,
you.
I wanted to oh goodness. I was going to say, I've never had anyone walk out of an interview before.
Here it is.
Oh my goodness.
Look at her.
And that's
This
just one of those composition books.
Yeah, that's my Bubba Teeny, my first Bubba Teeny. Yeah, the back of it is so big that the back started. You know how it warps, so
Oh yeah.
the back has creeped up to contain it. That I had to reinforce it with a
Oh,
piece of cardboard.
so how old is that one?
And then here's my second one. Before we got Big Bertha. This one I think is, let's see, my channel is 2 years old. So this one is a year, I guess, by now. A little bit more than a year. It's not like I put a date in here. That would have
Yeah.
been too much
And
writing.
clearly you've used fabric and lace and trim on it. So
Oh yeah, I love
okay.
lace.
Susie Allen was saying in New Jersey, her thrift store books are $4 to $7 a piece.
Oh
So
my
it's
goodness.
crazy what some prices are like. Steph is saying that's lame. She has one thrift store that has 80-cent books. Oh, and Marty is here.
Hey Marty. Marty keeps
um,
me straight.
Marty, what?
Keeps me straight.
Okay. Well, everyone needs one of those people. Okay, Steph is saying, but most of them are $2 to $3, and then any good ones are sectioned out and marked at eBay prices. Yeah, I think we've all, been lucky enough to score an incredible bargain, something that people will talk about for years and years, and then we've all overpaid for some stuff, and we all have too much stuff. Does that pretty well sum it up?
That sums it up.
Oh dear. Well, I hate to say, well, now that Marty's here, let's shut this thing down. We have been going for an hour and a half, and that is, typically when we start saying goodbye. So, um, of course, the whole episode is available to watch as a replay. And for people who, no matter what time of day, what day of the week, there's no good time for these things for everyone. So I definitely appreciate the new people who have been here today, and I hope you check out I have a dedicated playlist on my channel, and you'll see that all the previous 17 people were just as wonderful as our Juju is. I will give you a bit of a preview as to what is coming for the rest of the month. And also, if you check out Susan's I Totally Love It, on every Sunday, she does like a news broadcast that talks about all the challenges, all the collabs, all the ongoing things. So, really a resource like no other. Okay, so next week is Angela, the Traveling Crafter. The week after is Lori from Enchanted Dreams. And then the final week is going to be our first boy, our first man. So I've had to change my tagline to real conversations with real people. So, and that's Eddie Makes Art. And he's a
Oh,
mixed media guy and a contributor, I guess a designer with PM Artist Studios. So that'll be a good one because I think he's very clever in all the chats that I've seen. So those are good reasons to tune in and try to catch as many of these episodes as you can. So as we start winding this down, do you have any words of advice? Like what would you have if you could talk to yourself a couple of years prior? What advice would you have given that person? What advice do you have to new to beginners now? Not that anybody really listens, let's face it, but
yeah. Yeah, I have what they said. But if I could tell, if my future self could tell my past self, I would tell her just to chill the hell out. Just take it. don't don't go crazy and buy everything because you think it was really cool that that person used it, did that with it. Don't build a house up with the stuff that you need to get rid of now. And because you have more fun with junk. I have more fun using junk and turning junk into pretty stuff. I mean, I take junk mail, and when I get through, it doesn't look like junk mail anymore. And I would say, work with your junk mail first, and don't don't get so caught up and upset with, oh, I can't do it like blah blah blah, like so and so, that person, or yeah, it's not as good as so and so stuff.
Yeah.
Because most of the time you feel that way because that's not really your style. Everybody has their own artistic style in them. And until you embrace it and find it, it's there. You just got to find it. You got to uncover and discover it. And until you do that, everything that you do kind of either is or not as good. You know.
Eh. I think that if you figured out your style in only 2 years, I think you're ahead of the curve. Frankly, I think sometimes it takes longer than that. So,
I've done a lot, Miss Hayes. I've done a lot.
so bravo to you to figure that out. Okay, so Steph is saying Eddie is sweet. Marty is saying yay. Julie is saying so much to look forward to. Susie is saying, Juju, you're a joy to listen to. Talk about authentic, great attitude. Marty is saying, cover your inks and cap your glue.
That's right.
That is practical advice. I can see why she's your sort of chaperone, guardian
Yeah,
angel.
yeah, she's kidding straight. Until Marty started on me, I never hardly covered my glue without my inks.
Um, oh, and Gigi is here. Well, okay, Steph is saying great interview. Sorry I was so late. So I think, of course, go back and Steph is a new subscriber. Lovely. Thank you. Yeah, you will definitely see commonalities. You'll see if you watch all the videos of all the guests, you will see that yes, there are differences. Yes, we've touched on some interesting or real life things like alcoholism, ADHD, um, you know, the reality of working, after divorce and so on, juggling parenting and creativity. So we tend to laugh a lot. We tend to talk about things that matter. And I think you will find that even though everyone is an individual, we seem to flock to each other and flock together because we are speaking to like-minded people. Quite often our family and friends don't have any clue what we're doing, or more importantly, why we're doing it. But yet we can talk to somebody like this across the miles and talk in shorthand because, hey, we're talking the same language, baby.
And it's nice that, I mean, because I was so blessed, and God led me straight into a wonderful community. And the the world out there, paper crafting and junk journaling and YouTube land and everything, that there are pockets of communities and pockets of niche and cliques of people and stuff. And I was so blessed to be able to get into such a wonderful community that is so loving and so supportive. And they are like the best ladies and gentlemen that I have ever found. And, you're right. They understand you, they just get you.
Susie was asking who's the kitty, so of course your buds have
Fat
answered. Fat Daddy, aka Casey.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if I've laughed more through any of these interviews, so I appreciate you giving me all these what, endorphins, shall we say?
Well, I'm glad I could get them to you because I just love you so much.
Well, I love you too. Um, so I think we will say goodbye. Of course, you will be able to share this video on your own channel, probably tomorrow. I just have the free version of StreamYard, so couldn't do it live. Anyway, I also want to thank all the people in the chat who have been here. New people, returning people, and the fact that you're kind to each other, you answer questions of each, that the other people might have. And it feels maybe like we had a little bit of a party and people got to know some new people. So I'm grateful to you for that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it so much, and I am so flattered and honored to be able to that you asked me to come on here and be with you.
Okay, and we've already determined that you will be one of the invitees to my March Masterboard Madness. So
Oh yeah,
I'll be
that's gonna be
reaching
fun.
out to you for that.
All right.
Anyway, it's been a slice, guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Oh, Steph, thanks for the reminder. I don't know what that is, but maybe they know. Okay, good night, guys.
Night.